When billionaire hotelier Guilherme Torres rescues a homeless woman and her twins, he's shocked to discover she's his first love, and they're his children. Will old secrets keep them apart? Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. The morning sun glinted off the glass towers of San Miguel City as Guilherme Torres stepped out of his silver Bentley. At 30 years old, he had already accomplished more than most men twice his age. His hotel chain, Torres Luxury Resorts, was expanding across South America, and today's meeting with international investors would seal the deal on his newest project. "Mr. Torres, we need to leave in 40 minutes to make the meeting on time," his assistant Marcus reminded him, handing him a coffee from his favorite cafe. Guilherme nodded, adjusting his custom Italian suit. "I just need some fresh air. Wait in the car." He walked along the upscale shopping district, sipping his coffee. Despite his success, mornings like this often left him feeling empty. His penthouse apartment was beautiful but quiet. His social calendar was full but meaningless. Something was missing. As he rounded the corner toward the financial district, a small commotion caught his eye. A street vendor was shouting at someone huddled against the wall of a building. "You can't stay here. You're scaring away my customers. Go on, get lost." Guilherme was about to walk past when he noticed two small children pressed against a woman. They couldn't be more than 5 or 6 years old, with dirty faces and clothes that hung from their thin frames. The woman had her head down, long dark hair hiding her face as she gathered their few belongings into a plastic bag. "Come on, kids," she said softly. "We'll find somewhere else." Her voice made Guilherme stop in his tracks. Something about it pulled at his memory. The woman stood, finally looking up, and Guilherme felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. Those eyes, deep brown with flecks of gold. He would recognize them anywhere, even after all these years. "Anna?" he whispered, taking a step forward. The woman froze, staring at him with those unforgettable eyes. They widened in recognition, then filled with shame. She quickly looked away, trying to usher the children along. "Ana Cardoso, is that you?" Guilherme said louder, closing the distance between them. She looked different, thinner, her once glowing skin now pale and drawn, her beautiful hair tangled and dull. But it was her, the girl who had been his first love, his only real love. "Guilherme," she said, her voice barely audible. "Please, just let us go." The children clung to her legs, looking up at Guilherme with fearful eyes. A boy and a girl, both with Anna's dark hair and delicate features. "What happened to you?" he asked, ignoring the stares of passers-by. "You disappeared. We were supposed to leave together, remember? And then one day you were just gone." Anna shook her head. "It's a long story, and not one I want to tell on a street corner." Guilherme looked at the children again. "Are these your kids?" She nodded, pulling them closer protectively. "Where are you staying?" he asked. Anna's silence told him everything. His chest tightened as he realized they had nowhere to go. "Come with me," he said, not as a question but a statement. "I can't," Anna replied. "We don't belong in your world." Guilherme stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You once were my world, Anna. I don't know what happened, but I'm not leaving you and these children on the street. My car is just around the corner." "Mr. Torres," Marcus called, approaching with a concerned expression. "Your meeting starts in 30 minutes. Guilherme turned to his assistant. "Cancel it. Reschedule for next week." Marcus's mouth fell open. "But sir, the investors flew in from—" "I said reschedule it." Guilherme cut him off with a tone that left no room for argument. He turned back to Anna. "Please, just come with me. For the children, if not for yourself." Anna looked at her son and daughter, who were shivering despite the warm morning. Slowly, she nodded. Guilherme led them to his car, opening the door for them. Marcus stood by, clearly shocked, but said nothing as Anna and the children climbed into the luxurious vehicle. "The Grand Torres," Guilherme instructed his driver, referring to his flagship hotel in the heart of the city. The drive was silent. Anna sat rigid, her arms around her children, as if afraid they might disappear. The little girl stared wide-eyed at the leather seats and wood paneling, while the boy kept his eyes fixed on Guilherme, suspicious and protective. When they arrived at the hotel, the staff at the entrance froze at the sight of their boss escorting a disheveled woman and 2 ragged children through the gleaming lobby. Whispers followed them to the elevator. "Patricia," Guilherme called to the hotel manager, who was watching in shock. "Have breakfast sent up to the presidential suite, and some clean clothes for our guests." "Yes, Mr. Torres," she replied, trying to hide her surprise. In the elevator, the little girl finally spoke. "Mama, is this man rich?" Anna hushed her quickly, but Guilherme smiled. "What's your name?" The girl looked at her mother, who nodded slightly. "I'm Sophia. I'm 6. And I'm Lucas," the boy added, his voice strong despite his circumstances. "I'm 6 too. We're twins. Twins. 6 years old." Guilherme did the math in his head. It had been 11 years since Anna disappeared from his life. These children couldn't be... The presidential suite took up the entire top floor of the hotel. When the doors opened, the children gasped. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed a panoramic view of the city. Plush sofas, crystal chandeliers, and marble floors gleamed in the morning light. "The bathroom is through there," Guilherme said, pointing to a door. "You can all clean up. Fresh clothes will be here soon." Anna finally met his eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "Because it's you," he said simply. "Because I spent years wondering what happened. Because I never stopped—" He cut himself off, aware of the children listening. "We'll talk later. Get cleaned up first." While Anna and the children were in the bathroom, Guilherme paced the suite, his mind racing. He called his office to clear his schedule for the day, ignoring the protests of his executive team. Whatever meetings he had, whatever deals were pending, they could wait. Ana Cardoso was back in his life, and nothing else mattered right now. A knock at the door announced the arrival of breakfast and clothes. Guilherme had instructed Patricia to find children's clothing from the hotel boutique, along with women's basics. When Anna emerged from the bathroom with clean faces and wet hair, the children ran to the food laid out on the dining table. "Slowly," Anna cautioned them. "You'll get stomach aches." She had washed her face and combed her hair with her fingers. Even in her worn clothes with the grime washed away, Guilherme could see the beauty that had once made his teenage heart race. "The clothes are on the bed," he told her. "I'll wait out here with the kids while you change." Anna hesitated, then nodded gratefully. As she disappeared into the bedroom, Guilherme sat across from the children, who were devouring eggs and pancakes like they hadn't eaten in days. Maybe they hadn't. "So," he said casually, "where have you been living?" Lucas glared at him, protective even at his young age. Sophia, however, was more trusting. "We move a lot," she said between bites. "Sometimes we stay in shelters, but Mama doesn't like them. She says they're not safe." "And your father?" Guilherme asked, trying to sound casual. "Where is he?" Lucas put down his fork. "We don't have a father." "Everyone has a father," Guilherme said gently. "Not us," Lucas insisted. "It's just us and Mama. Always has been." Anna returned wearing the simple cotton dress Patricia had sent up. It was too large for her thin frame, but clean and neat. She had pulled her hair back, revealing the fine cheekbones and delicate features that had haunted Guilherme's dreams for years. "Kids, why don't you watch some TV while I talk to Mr. Torres?" she suggested, pointing to the massive screen in the living area. Once the children were settled, Anna joined Guilherme at the far end of the suite. "You look good, Guilherme," she said softly. "I always knew you'd be successful, and I always thought we'd be successful together," he replied. "We had plans, Anna, dreams. We were going to see the world, build something together. Then one day, you were just gone. No goodbye, no explanation. Your parents wouldn't tell me anything. I thought something terrible had happened to you." Anna looked away, tears filling her eyes. "Something did happen, but I couldn't tell you then. And now, can you tell me now what was so terrible that you had to disappear from my life without a word?" She glanced at the children, making sure they couldn't hear. "It's complicated, Guilherme, and it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that I find a job and a place for my children to live. We can't stay in your fancy hotel." "You can stay as long as you need to," he insisted. "I own the place, remember? And I can help you find work too." Anna shook her head. "I don't want your charity." "It's not charity," Guilherme said, leaning forward. "Anna, do you know what it did to me when you left? I waited for you at the bus station. I had 2 tickets to Rio, just like we planned. When you didn't show up, I went to your house. Your mother said you were gone, that I should forget about you." "I'm sorry," Anna whispered. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Then tell me what happened. Tell me why you left, and tell me about them." He nodded toward the children. "Their father, is he in the picture?" Anna stiffened. "No, he never was." "Does he know about them?" "No," she said firmly, "and it's better that way." Guilherme studied her face, trying to read the emotions behind her guarded expression. "They're 6, you said. That means you were pregnant at 24, Anna finished for him. "I was 24 when they were born." The timeline didn't add up to what he'd been thinking. He felt a strange mix of relief and disappointment. "What happened after you left?" he asked. "Where did you go?" My aunt's place in the countryside at first, then I moved around, took whatever jobs I could find. I was doing okay for a while. I had a steady job as a waitress in a small town up north. We had a little apartment, the kids were in school. Her voice broke. Then I got sick, really sick. Hospital bills, medications. I lost my job, then our apartment. We've been on the streets for about 3 months now. And you never thought to contact me. Anna, I would have helped you in a heartbeat. I couldn't, she said, looking away. After the way I left, I was too ashamed. Guilherme reached out, taking her hand. It was rough from hard work, so different from the soft hands he remembered. Stay here, at least until you're back on your feet. I have dozens of positions at the hotel. You can work here if you want to earn your keep. Anna looked at her children, who were now laughing at a cartoon on the television. It had been so long since she'd seen them this relaxed, this happy. Okay, she finally agreed, but only until I can afford a place of our own. Deal, Guilherme said, smiling for what felt like the first time in years. I'll have Patricia prepare a 2-bedroom suite for you. It's usually for long-term guests, but it's empty right now. That evening, after getting Anna and the children settled in their new temporary home, Guilherme returned to his penthouse apartment across town. He couldn't focus on work, couldn't think about anything except Anna and those 2 children. There was something she wasn't telling him, something important. His phone rang. It was his brother, Ricardo. What the hell happened today? Ricardo demanded. How you blew off the Carson Group? Do you know how long we've been courting those investors? Something came up, Guilherme said. Something personal. More important than $100 million deal? Yes, Guilherme said firmly. Someone from my past showed up. Someone important. Ricardo was silent for a moment. Not Ana Cardoso? Guilherme was surprised. How did you know? Patricia called me. Said you brought in some homeless woman and 2 kids. I put 2 and 2 together. Guilherme, tell me you're not still hung up on that girl. It's been what, 10 years? 11, Guilherme corrected. And I'm not hung up on her. I'm helping an old friend who's fallen on hard times. Right, Ricardo said skeptically. Just be careful. You worked too hard building this company to let some old flame and her baggage derail everything. After hanging up, Guilherme poured himself a drink and walked out onto his balcony. The city lights sparkled below, but his mind was elsewhere. He thought about Anna's children, their ages, their faces. There was something familiar about them, especially the boy, Lucas. Something in the set of his jaw, the intensity of his gaze. Later that night, Guilherme couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Anna, where she had been all these years, what she had been through. At midnight, he gave up trying to rest and headed back to the hotel. The night manager was surprised to see him, but didn't question why the boss was returning so late. Guilherme took the elevator to the floor where Anna and the children were staying. He was about to knock when he noticed the door was slightly ajar. Concerned, he pushed it open. Anna? He called softly, not wanting to wake the children. The suite was quiet. He moved through the living area to the children's bedroom. They were sound asleep, Lucas with his arm protectively around his sister, even in slumber. Guilherme found Anna sitting on the balcony, staring out at the city. She turned when she heard him, quickly wiping tears from her cheeks. Sorry, he said. The door was open. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. It's fine, she said. It's been a long time since the kids had real beds to sleep in. I can't seem to sleep myself. Guilherme sat in the chair beside her. I couldn't sleep either. Kept thinking about you, about today. It doesn't seem real. Anna gave him a sad smile. I used to dream about seeing you again, but not like this. Not with me at rock bottom and you having to rescue me. Life rarely works out the way we plan, he said, but I'm glad I found you, whatever the circumstances. They sat in silence for a while, the city humming below them. I should let you rest, Guilherme finally said, standing. As he turned to leave, Anna spoke. Their things are in my bag, in the closet. Could you bring it to me? I want to check something. Guilherme found her worn backpack in the bedroom closet and brought it out to the balcony. Anna took it, rummaging through until she found what she was looking for, a small, weathered envelope. I kept a few photos, she explained. Not much, but they're precious to the kids. Proof that we weren't always struggling. She pulled out a small stack of photographs, school pictures of the twins, a snapshot of them as toddlers on a beach, Anna holding them as infants in a hospital bed. Then she paused, looking at the last photo in the stack. With trembling hands, she held it out to Guilherme. It was a photo of the 2 of them at 17. They were at the local fair, Guilherme's arm around Anna's shoulders, both smiling broadly into the camera. Young, happy, full of dreams. I kept it all these years, Anna said quietly, to remember. Guilherme took the photo, a lump forming in his throat. He turned it over, and his heart stopped. Written on the back in Anna's careful handwriting were 5 words that changed everything. Tell him they're his. Guilherme stared at the words on the back of the photograph, reading them over and over. Tell him they're his. His hands trembled as he looked up at Anna, who couldn't meet his eyes. What is this? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Anna, what does this mean? Anna took a deep breath, tears streaming down her face. It means exactly what it says. The twins. They're yours, Guilherme. They've always been yours. Guilherme felt like the world was spinning. But you said you were 24 when they were born. That would mean... I lied, Anna admitted. I was 19 when I got pregnant. 19 when I left without saying goodbye. Guilherme stood up abruptly, pacing the balcony. We were careful. We always used protection. Nothing is 100%, Anna said quietly. I found out a week before we were supposed to leave for Rio. I was terrified. So instead of telling me you disappeared? Guilherme's voice rose and Anna quickly gestured for him to keep quiet, nodding toward the bedroom where the children slept. My parents found out, she explained, her voice low. My father was furious. He said I'd ruined my life, that I was throwing away my future for a boy with big dreams but no means to support a family. He threatened to disown me if I didn't take care of it. And you chose to leave me instead, Guilherme said, the hurt evident in his voice. Anna shook her head. No, I chose my babies. My aunt offered to take me in. She lived far from here, in a place where no one knew me. My parents told everyone I'd gone to live with her to help with her business. No one knew I was pregnant. Except you kept this note, Guilherme said, holding up the photograph. You were going to tell me eventually. I wanted to, Anna admitted. So many times. When the twins were born, when they started asking about their father, when I saw your face on the business magazine at the doctor's office. But the longer I waited, the harder it became. And then you ended up on the streets, Guilherme finished for her, with my children. He sat down heavily, running his hands through his hair. 6 years. I've missed 6 years of their lives. I'm sorry, Anna whispered. I was young and scared. My father convinced me you'd resent me for ruining your future, that you'd be forced to give up your dreams to support us. That wasn't his decision to make, Guilherme said angrily. Or yours. I had a right to know I had children. You're right, Anna acknowledged. It was wrong of me, but I can't change the past, Guilherme. All I can do is try to give them a better future. Guilherme looked through the glass doors at the bedroom, where Lucas and Sophia slept peacefully, unaware that their world was about to change. Do they know anything about me? He asked. Anna shook her head. Only that their father was someone I loved very much, but we couldn't be together. Lucas stopped asking a couple of years ago. Sophia still brings it up sometimes. And now? What do we tell them now? Guilherme asked. I don't know, Anna admitted. This is all happening so fast. This morning we were on the street and now... She gestured to the luxury suite around them. Guilherme stood up again. I need some time to process this, but one thing is clear. You and the children are staying here, and I want to get to know them, Anna. I've lost 6 years. I don't want to lose another day. Anna nodded, wiping away her tears. Of course. They're your children too. Guilherme left the suite in a daze, his mind reeling from the revelation. As he rode the elevator down to the lobby, he tried to make sense of it all. He had children, a son and daughter he never knew existed. The woman he had once loved, the woman he had never truly gotten over, was back in his life. The next morning, Guilherme arrived at the hotel early, after a sleepless night. He had called his lawyer and asked him to clear his schedule for the next week. This was more important than any business deal. When he knocked on the suite door, Sophia answered. Her face lit up when she saw him. Mama, the rich man is here again, she called over her shoulder. Guilherme smiled despite his conflicted feelings. Good morning, Sophia. You can call me Guilherme. Anna appeared from the kitchen area, looking rested but nervous. Good morning, she said carefully. Kids, why don't you finish your breakfast while I talk to Mr. Torres? Once the children were seated at the dining table, Anna led Guilherme to the living area. How are you? She asked. Still in shock, he admitted. But I've been thinking about what to do next. Anna tensed. What does that mean? It means I want a DNA test, he said bluntly. Not because I don't believe you, but because we'll need legal proof for what comes next. And what comes next? Anna asked, her voice small. I want to legally recognize them as my children. I want them to have my name, to be my heirs. They deserve everything I can give them, Anna. Anna's eyes filled with tears. And what about me? Where do I fit into this plan of yours? Guilherme hesitated. I don't know yet. This isn't just about us anymore, it's about Lucas and Sophia. Before Anna could respond, Sophia bounded over. Mama, can we go swimming? The man at the desk told us there's a big pool. Guilherme smiled at her enthusiasm. There is, and I'd be happy to take you all down there later if your mother agrees. Anna nodded, forcing a smile for her daughter's sake. That sounds nice. Now finish your breakfast, sweetie. After the children finished eating, Guilherme suggested they watch a movie while he and Anna continued their conversation. What about your family? Anna asked once the kids were settled. Your parents, Ricardo, how will they react to this news? Guilherme sighed. My parents are in Europe as usual. They'll be surprised, but they've always wanted grandchildren. Ricardo, he paused. Ricardo will have concerns, mostly about the business. He always does. And your girlfriend? Anna asked tentatively. There must be someone in your life. There isn't, Guilherme replied. Not anyone serious anyway. My last relationship ended 6 months ago. She wanted commitment, but I couldn't give it to her. I told myself it was because of work, but maybe what? Anna prompted. Maybe a part of me never got over you, he admitted. Even after all these years. Anna looked away. Don't say that. Too much has happened. We're different people now. Are we? Guilherme asked. Because finding you again, learning about the children, it feels like the missing piece of my life just fell into place. Their conversation was interrupted by Guilherme's phone ringing. It was Ricardo. I need to take this, he said, stepping out onto the balcony. Yes, Ricardo. Where are you? His brother demanded. The board is waiting. We have to decide on the Carson proposal today. I told you I need some personal time, Guilherme replied. For that woman? Guilherme, whatever she's told you, be careful. People will say anything for money. Guilherme felt anger rising. Her name is Anna, and there's something you should know. She has children, twins. My children. The line went silent for a moment. What did you just say? You heard me. I have a son and daughter, 6 years old. That's impossible, Ricardo sputtered. She's lying. It's a trap, Guilherme. Don't you see? She shows up with some kids just as we're about to close the biggest deal of our careers. The timing is coincidence, Guilherme insisted, and I'm getting a DNA test to confirm, but I don't have any doubts. Lucas looks just like I did at his age. DNA test, good. At least you're being somewhat sensible, Ricardo said. But keep this quiet until we know for sure. The last thing we need is a scandal right now. After hanging up, Guilherme returned to find Anna helping the children get ready for the pool. Everything okay? She asked, noticing his expression. Just business, he said. Nothing important. They spent the afternoon at the hotel pool. Guilherme watched as Sophia and Lucas splashed and played. They were timid at first, but soon their natural childhood exuberance took over. Guilherme found himself laughing at their antics, his heart swelling with a love he hadn't known he was capable of feeling. Anna sat beside him, wrapped in a hotel robe. They're good kids, she said softly. Despite everything, they're happy, kind-hearted children. You did that, Guilherme said. You raised them well, Anna. I can see that. She smiled, watching as Lucas helped his sister climb onto a pool float. They look out for each other. Always have. Lucas seems very protective, Guilherme observed. Anna nodded. He's had to be. On the streets he was always standing guard while Sophia and I slept. 6 years old, and he thinks he has to be the man of the family. He doesn't have to be that anymore, Guilherme said firmly. I'm here now. Later that evening, after the children were bathed and dressed in new clothes that Guilherme had sent up from the hotel boutique, he suggested they all have dinner together in the hotel restaurant. I don't think that's a good idea, Anna protested. We don't have proper clothes and the children aren't used to fancy places. They need to get used to it, Guilherme said, because their father owns the place. Anna's eyes widened. You want to tell them? Now? Not everything at once, Guilherme assured her, but I want them to get to know me, Anna, and I want to start tonight. The hotel's signature restaurant, perched on the 30th floor with panoramic views of the city, was usually booked weeks in advance. But when the owner walked in with his guests, the maitre d' quickly arranged the best table. Lucas and Sophia were wide-eyed, taking in the crystal chandeliers and formally dressed diners. Anna looked uncomfortable, smoothing down her simple dress repeatedly. Relax, Guilherme whispered to her. You belong here as much as anyone. As they studied the menus, Sophia frowned at the unfamiliar dishes. I don't know what any of this is, she whispered to her mother. Guilherme smiled. How about I order for everyone? Trust me, you'll like it. Throughout dinner, Guilherme asked the children questions about themselves, their favorite colors, games, what subjects they liked in school before they had to leave. Sofia chatted easily, while Lucas remained more reserved, watching Guilherme with suspicious eyes. "Why are you being so nice to us?" Lucas finally asked bluntly. "Lucas," Anna scolded, "that's not polite." "It's okay," Guilherme said. "It's a fair question." He looked directly at Lucas. "I'm being nice because I care about your mother. We were very close once, a long time ago." "Were you her boyfriend?" Sofia asked excitedly. Guilherme glanced at Anna, who nodded slightly. "Yes, I was. When we were teenagers." "Did you love her?" Sofia pressed. "Sofia, enough questions," Anna said firmly. "Yes," Guilherme answered anyway. "I loved her very much." Lucas's eyes narrowed. "If you loved her so much, where have you been all this time? Why didn't you help us before?" An uncomfortable silence fell over the table. Guilherme looked to Anna for guidance, but she seemed at a loss for words. "I didn't know you needed help," Guilherme finally said. "Your mother and I lost touch for many years. If I had known, I would have been there in a heartbeat." Lucas didn't look convinced, but he went back to his food without further comment. After dinner, they returned to the suite. As Anna tucked the children into bed, Guilherme waited in the living room, thinking about Lucas's question. Where had he been? Living his life, building his empire, never knowing his children were out there, sometimes going hungry, sometimes without a roof over their heads. When Anna joined him, he could see the strain on her face. "That was harder than I expected," she said. "Lucas doesn't trust me," Guilherme observed. "He doesn't trust men in general," Anna explained. "The few who've been in our lives haven't exactly been kind." Guilherme felt a surge of protectiveness. "Did anyone hurt you? Or the children?" "Not physically," Anna assured him, "but there were men who made promises they didn't keep. Men who disappeared when things got tough. Lucas learned early that it's just the three of us against the world." "Not anymore," Guilherme said firmly. "I've arranged for the DNA test tomorrow, just a simple cheek swab. Once we have the results, we can make everything official." Anna looked troubled. "And then what? What exactly are you planning, Guilherme?" "I want to be their father, Anna, in every way. I want them to have my name, to be raised with every advantage I can give them. I want to make up for the 6 years I missed." "And where will I fit into this picture?" Anna asked. "Am I just the delivery system for your heirs?" Guilherme was taken aback. "Of course not. You're their mother. We'll figure this out together." "Will we?" Anna challenged. "Because it sounds like you've already made all the decisions. Just like my father did when he sent me away. Just like every man who thinks he knows what's best for me and my children." "That's not fair," Guilherme protested. "I'm trying to help. By taking over our lives?" Anna stood up, her voice rising. "I've spent 6 years raising these children on my own. 6 years making every decision, every sacrifice. And now you think you can just step in and take control?" "I'm not trying to take control," Guilherme argued. "I'm trying to give them the life they deserve." "And what about what I deserve?" Anna asked, tears in her eyes. "Do I deserve to be pushed aside now that you've found your heirs?" Before Guilherme could respond, a small voice spoke from the hallway. "Why are you fighting?" They turned to see Sofia standing there in her pajamas, her eyes wide with concern. Anna immediately softened her tone. "We're not fighting, sweetie. Just having a grown-up conversation. Go back to bed." "You were yelling," Sofia said, unconvinced. Guilherme knelt down to her level. "Sometimes adults get passionate when they're talking about important things, but everything is okay. I promise." Sofia looked between them. "Are you going to leave now? The other men always left when they fought with Mama." Guilherme felt his heart break a little. "No, Sofia. I'm not going anywhere." After Anna took Sofia back to bed, she returned to find Guilherme standing by the window, looking out at the city lights. "I'm sorry," he said without turning around. "You're right. I've been making plans without consulting you. I'm trying to fix everything at once, and I'm doing it all wrong." Anna stood beside him. "I'm sorry too. I know you want what's best for them. But this is all happening so fast, Guilherme. Yesterday we were strangers, and today we're figuring out how to co-parent. Let's slow down," he suggested. "We'll take the DNA test tomorrow, but we don't have to make any other decisions right away. Let's just focus on getting to know each other again, on letting the children get comfortable with me." Anna nodded, relief evident on her face. "That sounds more reasonable." "In the meantime," Guilherme continued, "I want you to see a doctor. You mentioned you were sick. I want to make sure you're okay." "I'm fine now," Anna assured him. "It was pneumonia. I couldn't afford the full course of antibiotics, so it took longer to recover than it should have. But I'm better. Still, I want you to get checked out, for the children's sake, if not your own." Anna agreed reluctantly. As Guilherme prepared to leave, he paused at the door. Anna, there's something I need to ask you. What is it? If we hadn't run into each other yesterday, would you ever have told me about them? Anna couldn't meet his eyes. I don't know, she admitted. I'd like to think I would have someday. But honestly, I was ashamed, Guilherme. Ashamed that I'd kept them from you. Ashamed that I couldn't provide for them properly. Ashamed that I'd have to admit I made the wrong choice all those years ago. Guilherme nodded, his expression unreadable. Good night, Anna. As he walked to the elevator, his phone buzzed with a text from Ricardo. Board meeting tomorrow, non-negotiable. Carson deal falling apart without your input. Guilherme sighed, pocketing his phone without responding. His business could wait. For the first time in his life, something was more important than Torres luxury resorts. What he didn't see was the figure watching from the shadows of the hallway, Ricardo, his face tight with anger, as he watched his brother leave Anna's suite. In his hand was a hotel security report, detailing the background check he'd ordered on Ana Cardoso, and what he'd found was about to change everything. The next morning, Ricardo Torres sat in his office at Torres Luxury Resorts headquarters, drumming his fingers on his desk as he stared at the folder in front of him. The private investigator he'd hired had worked quickly, digging up everything there was to know about Ana Cardoso in less than 24 hours. Mr. Torres, his secretary announced over the intercom, your brother is here. Send him in, Ricardo replied, closing the folder. Guilherme entered, looking tired but energized in a way Ricardo hadn't seen in years. You missed the board meeting, Ricardo said without preamble. I told you I needed time, Guilherme replied, taking a seat across from his brother. The Carson deal can wait. No, it can't. They're threatening to pull out entirely if we don't sign by the end of the week. Guilherme shrugged. Then let them. There are other investors. Ricardo stared at his brother in disbelief. Who are you? The Guilherme I know would never risk a deal of this magnitude. Maybe I have different priorities now, Guilherme said. Because of this woman and her children. Children who may not even be yours? Guilherme's expression hardened. We're doing the DNA test today, but I don't have any doubts, Ricardo, and neither would you if you saw them, especially Lucas. He looks just like I did at that age. Ricardo pushed the folder across the desk. Before you go any further with this, you should know what you're getting involved with. What is this? Guilherme asked, not touching the folder. Everything you need to know about Ana Cardoso, where she's been, what she's been doing, who she's been with. Guilherme's jaw tightened. You had her investigated? Someone had to protect the family interests, Ricardo said. Open it. Reluctantly, Guilherme took the folder and flipped it open. Inside were photographs, documents, and a detailed report on Anna's movements over the past 11 years. As you can see, Ricardo continued, she's had multiple addresses, multiple jobs. There's a period of about 2 years where she lived with a man named Carlos Mendez in Belo Horizonte, a small-time criminal with a record for fraud and theft. Guilherme scanned the pages, his expression darkening. This was years ago, and it doesn't mean anything. Keep reading, Ricardo insisted. Last year she was arrested for shoplifting, groceries and children's medicine, but still, theft is theft, and there's more. 3 months ago, she was evicted from her apartment for non-payment. The landlord reported damage to the property. She was sick, Guilherme said defensively. She lost her job because of it. That's her story, Ricardo countered. But the fact remains that this woman has a history of instability. And now she shows up claiming her children are yours, just as we're about to close the biggest deal of our careers. The timing is suspicious, to say the least. Guilherme closed the folder and pushed it back across the desk. I don't care about her past. I care about her present and her future, which is now tied to mine because of those children. At least wait for the DNA results before you make any promises, Ricardo pleaded. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. Fine, Guilherme agreed. But in the meantime, I'm taking a step back from the business. I've earned it, Ricardo. I've spent the last decade building this company, working 80-hour weeks, sacrificing any chance at a personal life. Now I have a chance to be a father, to have a family. Can't you understand why that matters to me? Ricardo's expression softened slightly. Of course I understand. Family is everything. That's why I'm trying to protect you. And the Torres name. Back at the hotel, Anna was helping the children get ready for their appointment at the medical clinic, where the DNA tests would be performed. Sophia was excited about going out, while Lucas remained sullen. I don't want to go, he complained, as Anna helped him with his new shoes. Another gift from Guilherme. It's just a quick visit, Anna assured him. The doctor will just swab the inside of your cheek. It doesn't hurt at all. But why do they need to test us? Lucas persisted. What are they looking for? Anna hesitated. She had been trying to find the right way to explain the situation to the children, but it was complicated. It's to prove something important, she said finally. Something about our family. Sophia looked up from the doll Guilherme had sent that morning, the first new toy she'd had in months. Is it about Mr. Guilherme? Is he part of our family? Before Anna could answer, there was a knock at the door. She opened it to find Guilherme standing there, his expression tense. "Good morning," he said, forcing a smile. "Is everyone ready?" As they walked through the hotel lobby, Anna noticed Guilherme seemed distracted. "Is everything okay?" she asked quietly while the children walked ahead. "Fine," he said shortly. "Just some business issues with Ricardo." Anna studied his face. "He doesn't approve of me, does he?" Guilherme sighed. "It's not that. He's just cautious, protective of the family interests. And I'm a threat to those interests," Anna concluded. "No," Guilherme said firmly. "You're the mother of my children. That makes you family." The medical clinic was private and discreet, clearly accustomed to catering to wealthy clients. The DNA tests were quick and painless, just as Anna had promised. The doctor assured them the results would be expedited and available in 48 hours. Afterward, Guilherme suggested they have lunch at a nearby park. As the children played on the swings, Guilherme and Anna sat on a bench watching them. "They seem happier today," Guilherme observed. "More relaxed." Anna nodded. "Having a safe place to sleep and regular meals does wonders for a child's spirits. They've been through so much, Guilherme, more than any child should have to endure." "I want to know everything," Guilherme said. "About their lives. About yours. No more secrets, Anna." Anna was quiet for a moment. "What do you want to know?" "Ricardo had you investigated," Guilherme admitted. "He found out about Carlos Mendez." Anna's face paled. "That was a mistake. I was young, struggling to make ends meet. He seemed kind at first, offered to help us. What happened? I discovered he was involved in some illegal activities. When I confronted him, he became violent. Not with the children," she added quickly, seeing Guilherme's expression, "but with me. We left in the middle of the night with just the clothes on our backs." Guilherme's hands clenched into fists. "Did he hurt you?" Anna looked away. "It doesn't matter now. It was a long time ago." "It matters to me," Guilherme insisted. Before Anna could respond, Sophia came running over. "Mama, Lucas won't let me have a turn on the swing." The moment was broken as Anna went to mediate between the siblings. Guilherme watched her gentle handling of the children, the way she listened to both sides of the argument, and found a compromise that left both kids satisfied. That evening, after returning to the hotel, Guilherme invited them all to his penthouse apartment for dinner. He had arranged for a chef to prepare a meal, wanting to show the children where he lived. "Wow," Sophia gasped as they entered the spacious penthouse with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. "Your house is even bigger than the hotel room," Guilherme laughed. "It is, and there's plenty of space here." Lucas wandered around, examining everything with cautious curiosity. He stopped at a wall of photographs. Guilherme with celebrities, politicians, business leaders. "Is that the president?" Lucas asked, pointing to one photo. "Former president," Guilherme corrected. "He stayed at one of our hotels last year." Anna stood back, watching her children explore this new world, a world of wealth and privilege that was so far removed from everything they had known. "You have a piano," Sophia exclaimed, running to the grand piano in the corner of the living room. "Can you play?" "A little," Guilherme admitted. "My mother insisted on lessons when I was growing up." "Play something for us," Sophia begged. Guilherme sat at the piano and began to play a simple melody. Sophia watched in awe, while Lucas hung back, still wary but clearly impressed. As the evening progressed, even Lucas began to warm up, asking Guilherme questions about the buildings visible from the windows and about the model ships displayed on the bookshelf. "Those were my father's," Guilherme explained. "He collected them. This one," he pointed to a particular ship, "is the same type of vessel my great-grandfather came to Brazil on, from Portugal." "Are we Portuguese too?" Lucas asked. Guilherme glanced at Anna, who nodded slightly. "Yes, on my side of the family. Your mother's family is more from the north of Brazil. So we're half and half," Lucas concluded. "That's right," Guilherme said, a lump forming in his throat at this first acknowledgement, however indirect, of their connection. After dinner, as Anna helped the children get ready for bed in one of the guest rooms, Guilherme received a call from Ricardo. "We need to talk," his brother said. "The Carson deal is officially off the table. They signed with Rivera Hotels this afternoon." "I'm sorry to hear that," Guilherme said, genuinely disappointed but not devastated as he once would have been. "This is just the beginning," Ricardo warned. "If you continue to neglect the business for this situation, we'll lose more than just one deal." "I'm not neglecting anything," Guilherme insisted. "I'm prioritizing, and right now, Anna and the children need me." "Anna," Ricardo repeated. "Always Anna, just like when we were teenagers. You know, I never told you this, but I saw her the day she left." Guilherme froze. "What do you mean?" "I saw her getting into a cab with a suitcase. She was crying. I asked her where she was going, and she said she was leaving town for a while. I asked if you knew, and she said you didn't need to know." "Why didn't you tell me this?" Guilherme demanded. "Because she asked me not to," Ricardo replied. "She said it would be better for everyone if she just disappeared. I thought she was being dramatic. You know how teenagers are. But now I wonder if she already knew she was pregnant." "She did," Guilherme confirmed. "And she was scared. Her father threatened to disown her if she didn't take care of it. She chose to keep the babies and leave town." "Or that's what she told you," Ricardo countered. "Have you considered there might be another explanation? That perhaps the children aren't yours at all, but she's using them to get to your money?" "The DNA test will prove the truth," Guilherme said firmly. "Yes, it will," Ricardo agreed. "But what if it proves she's been lying? What then, brother?" After hanging up, Guilherme found Anna in the living room, gazing out at the city lights. "The children are asleep," she said. "They were exhausted." Guilherme stood beside her. "Ricardo says he saw you the day you left." Anna's eyes widened. "He did. I forgot about that." "You asked him not to tell me." Anna nodded sadly. "I was a mess, Guilherme. Crying, terrified. I thought if he told you he'd seen me, you'd ask too many questions. Questions I wasn't ready to answer." "Did you know then that you were carrying my children?" "Yes," Anna admitted. "I had taken 3 tests. I was about 6 weeks along." "And you still left without a word," Guilherme said, the old hurt resurfacing. "I made a mistake," Anna said, tears filling her eyes. "The biggest mistake of my life. Not keeping the babies, that was the right choice. But not telling you, letting you be part of their lives, I was wrong, so wrong." Guilherme was quiet for a long moment. "Ricardo thinks you're using the children to get to my money." Anna stiffened. "And what do you think?" "I think," Guilherme began, then shook his head. "I don't know what to think anymore. I want to believe you, Anna. I want to believe that Lucas and Sophia are mine. But there's so much that doesn't add up." "Like what?" Anna challenged. "Like why now? After 6 years of struggling, why didn't you come to me sooner? You knew where I was. You said yourself you saw me in a magazine." "I told you I was ashamed," Anna said, "and afraid you'd reject us. Or worse, that you'd try to take the children from me." "I would never do that," Guilherme insisted. "How would I know that?" Anna countered. "The boy I knew at 19 is not the same as the millionaire businessman you've become. Power changes people, Guilherme. Money changes people. Not me," he said. "Not in the ways that matter." They stood in silence, the weight of 11 years of separation and misunderstanding between them. "I should get the children back to the hotel," Anna finally said. "Stay," Guilherme offered. "There's plenty of room here. The guest rooms are made up." Anna hesitated. "I don't think that's a good idea, not until we know where we stand." "We'll know in 2 days," Guilherme said. "When the test results come back." Anna nodded. 2 days. The next morning, Guilherme was awakened by his phone ringing. It was the doctor from the clinic. "Mr. Torres, I have the results of the DNA test," he said. "I know we said 48 hours, but we were able to expedite the process." Guilherme sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. "And? The results are conclusive. In the case of both children, the probability of paternity is 99.9999%. You are definitely the biological father of Lucas and Sofia Cardoso." Relief washed over Guilherme. "Thank you, doctor. I'll come by later to pick up the official report." After hanging up, Guilherme immediately called Anna's suite, but there was no answer. Concerned, he quickly dressed and took the elevator down to their floor. When he knocked on the door, there was no response. He used his master key to enter and found the suite empty. The beds were made, but all of Anna and the children's belongings were gone. On the dining table was a handwritten note. "Guilherme, I'm sorry for disappearing again, but after our conversation last night, I realized we're still living in the past. You don't trust me, and I don't blame you. But I can't let the children get attached to a life they might lose if the tests come back negative. By the time you read this, we'll be gone. If the children are yours, you'll find us. If not, it's better this way. Anna." Guilherme crumpled the note in his fist. The test was positive. They were his children, and now they were gone again. He ran back to the elevator and down to the lobby. Patricia, he called to the hotel manager. The woman and children in suite 1520. Did you see them leave? Patricia nodded. Early this morning, around 6, they took a taxi. Did they say where they were going? Patricia shook her head. No, sir. But what? Mr. Ricardo Torres was here when they left. He spoke with Ms. Cardoso briefly before she got into the taxi. Guilherme felt a chill run down his spine. Ricardo, of course. He immediately called his brother, who answered on the first ring. Where are they, Ricardo? Guilherme demanded without preamble. Good morning to you too, brother, Ricardo replied calmly. Ana and the children are gone. Patricia said you were there when they left. What did you say to her? Ricardo sighed. I merely suggested that if she truly cared about you, she would give you space to process everything, that staying at the hotel was putting pressure on you and complicating an already difficult situation. You had no right, Guilherme said, his voice shaking with anger. The DNA test came back positive, Ricardo. They are my children, my son and daughter, and now they're gone again. I'm sorry to hear that, Ricardo said, not sounding sorry at all. But perhaps it's for the best. You can support them financially without disrupting your entire life. Set up a trust fund, pay for their education, be a father from a distance. That's not enough, Guilherme said. I want them in my life. I want to know them, to watch them grow up. And I will find them, Ricardo, with or without your help. After hanging up, Guilherme rushed back to his office. He needed resources, connections, anything that might help him track down Ana and the children. But as he entered the building, his secretary stopped him. Mr. Torres, there's someone waiting for you in your office. She says it's urgent. Guilherme pushed past her and flung open his office door. Standing by the window was a woman he hadn't seen in over a decade. Ana's mother, Elisa Cardoso. Mrs. Cardoso, he said in surprise, what are you doing here? Elisa turned to face him, her expression grave. I'm here about my daughter and grandchildren. There's something you need to know, Guilherme. Something Ana has never told anyone, not even you. Please, sit down, Elisa Cardoso said, gesturing to the chair behind Guilherme's desk. She looked older than he remembered, her once dark hair now streaked with grey, lines of worry etched around her eyes. Guilherme remained standing. Where are they, Mrs. Cardoso? Do you know where Ana took the children? I do, she confirmed. But before I tell you, there are things you need to understand, things that happened 11 years ago that Ana has kept secret, even from you. Guilherme reluctantly sat down. I'm listening. Elisa took a deep breath. When Ana discovered she was pregnant, she came to me first. She was terrified but determined to keep the babies. She wanted to tell you, to go to Rio with you as planned. But my husband, she paused, her voice breaking. Antonio was a proud, stubborn man. When he found out, he was furious, not just because she was pregnant, but because of who the father was. Me? Guilherme asked, confused. What did he have against me? Your father, Elisa explained. Years ago, before you were born, Antonio and your father were business partners. They opened a small hotel together, their first venture. But when it started to succeed, your father forced Antonio out, claiming the business was rightfully his alone. He took everything, leaving my husband with nothing but debts and broken dreams. Guilherme was stunned. I never knew. How could you? You were just a boy when you met Ana. But Antonio never forgot, never forgave. When he discovered his daughter was carrying a Torres child, it was like salt in an old wound. So he forced her to leave, Guilherme concluded. Not exactly, Elisa said. He gave her an ultimatum. End the pregnancy or leave and never return. Ana chose to leave to protect her babies. But there was more to it than that. What do you mean? Elisa's eyes filled with tears. Antonio threatened you, Guilherme. He said if Ana told you about the pregnancy, he would destroy you and your family. He had been collecting information about your father's business practices for years, evidence of tax evasion, bribery, illegal dealings with government officials. He was prepared to go to the authorities. So, Ana left to protect me, Guilherme realized, the pieces finally falling into place. Not because she didn't trust me or didn't want me involved. She loved you too much to let that happen, Elisa confirmed. She knew how much your family's business meant to you, how hard you'd worked to be part of it. She couldn't bear to be the reason it all came crashing down. Guilherme ran his hands through his hair, overwhelmed by this revelation. Why are you telling me this now, after all these years? Because Antonio died last month, Elisa said simply. Heart attack. On his deathbed, he confessed everything. How he'd driven Ana away, threatened you. He died with that guilt. And I've been living with my own guilt ever since, for not standing up to him, for letting my daughter face the world alone with 2 babies. So when Anna disappeared from the hotel this morning, she called me, Elisa explained. She was upset, said she couldn't stay, that it was all happening too fast. She didn't want to disrupt your life, especially if the children weren't yours. I told her about your father and Antonio, about the real reason she left 11 years ago. I thought she deserved to know the truth. And the children? Did the DNA test confirm they're mine? Yes, Guilherme said, his voice thick with emotion. 99% certainty. They're mine, Mrs. Cardoso, my son and daughter. Elisa smiled through her tears. I knew it the moment I saw their photos. Lucas has your eyes, your determination. And Sophia, she has your smile, your kindness. Please, Guilherme begged, tell me where they are. I need to find them, to make this right. Anna took them to your old place, Elisa said, the fishing village where you 2 used to go on weekends. She said it was the last place you were truly happy together. Guilherme's heart leapt. Praia Dourada, the tiny fishing village 3 hours down the coast. They had discovered it during a day trip and had returned many times, staying in a small cottage on the beach. It was there, under a full moon with the sound of waves crashing nearby, that they had first talked about building a future together. Thank you, Guilherme said, already heading for the door. For everything. Guilherme? Elisa called after him. She's scared of letting herself believe in happiness again. Be patient with her. As Guilherme rushed out of his office, he nearly collided with Ricardo in the hallway. Where are you going in such a hurry? Ricardo asked, suspicious. To find my family, Guilherme replied firmly. Ricardo's expression hardened. So the test was positive after all. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not, Guilherme said. You've done everything possible to keep them away from me. Why, Ricardo? What are you so afraid of? I'm trying to protect you, Ricardo insisted. And the company. Do you have any idea what bringing that woman and her children into our world would do to the Torres name? The scandal, the gossip. Her children are my children, Guilherme corrected. And I don't care about gossip, I care about them. This isn't just about you, Ricardo argued. What about our parents? What about the business? You're willing to risk everything we've built for a woman who abandoned you once already? She left to protect me, Guilherme revealed. To protect our family's business. Her father knew about Dad's illegal dealings, threatened to expose everything if she told me about the pregnancy. Ricardo paled. That's impossible. How would he know? They were partners once before we were born. Dad forced him out, took everything. He'd been gathering evidence for years, waiting for the right moment for revenge. And you believe this story? Ricardo asked, but his voice lacked conviction. Yes, I do. And if you're honest with yourself, you know it sounds exactly like something Dad would do. Guilherme stepped closer to his brother. I'm going to find Anna and the children, and I'm going to make them part of my life. You can either accept that and be an uncle to those kids, or you can stay out of our way. But you won't stop me, Ricardo. Not this time. Without waiting for a response, Guilherme pushed past his brother and headed for the parking garage. He needed to get to Praia Dourada as quickly as possible. The drive along the coastal highway brought back memories of weekend escapes with Anna, when they were young and in love, with their whole lives ahead of them. He remembered how she would sing along to the radio, her hair blowing in the wind from the open windows, how they would stop at roadside stands to buy fresh fruit, eating mangoes with juice dripping down their chins. As he approached the village, he could see it hadn't changed much in 11 years. The same colorful fishing boats lined the shore, the same small cluster of buildings made up the town center. He drove straight to the beach, to the row of cottages where they had stayed all those years ago, and there she was, standing on the sand, watching Sophia and Lucas play at the water's edge. The setting sun cast a golden glow over the scene, making it look like something from a dream. Guilherme parked the car and walked across the sand. Anna saw him coming and froze, but didn't run. She waited as he approached, the wind tousling her hair. Your mother told me where to find you, he said when he reached her. Anna nodded. I thought she might. She called to tell me she'd spoken with you. Why did you leave, Anna? The test results came back positive. They're mine. You must have known they would be. I knew, she admitted, but after our conversation last night, I realized how complicated this all is. You have your life, your business. The children and I, we don't fit into that world. That's not true, Guilherme insisted. You fit into my world perfectly. You always have. Mama, Sophia called, running up the beach with Lucas close behind. Look what we found. She held out a perfect sand dollar, her small face glowing with pride. When she noticed Guilherme, she broke into a wide smile. You came too. Are you staying at the beach with us? Before Guilherme could answer, Lucas stepped in front of his sister protectively. Why are you here? He asked, his young face serious. Guilherme knelt down to the boy's level. I'm here because I care about you, your sister, and your mother very much, and because there's something important I need to tell you both. Anna tensed beside him. Guilherme, maybe this isn't the right time. It's the perfect time, he said gently. They deserve to know the truth. He turned back to the children. Lucas, Sophia, I'm your father. Sophia's eyes widened. Really? You're our daddy? Lucas looked skeptical. If you're our father, where have you been all this time? I didn't know about you, Guilherme explained honestly. Your mother and I lost touch before you were born, and I didn't know she was going to have you. If I had known, I would have been there from the very beginning. Can you prove you're our dad? Lucas challenged. Guilherme smiled at the boy's caution. Yes, I can. We did a test yesterday, remember? At the doctor's office. That test proved that I'm your father. Science doesn't lie, Lucas conceded, clearly impressed. Sophia, less concerned with proof, threw her arms around Guilherme's neck. I always wanted a daddy, she said. Guilherme held her close, his heart so full it felt like it might burst. After a moment, he looked at Lucas, who was still standing back, uncertain. It's okay if you need time, Guilherme told him. I understand this is a lot to take in, but I want you to know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay if you'll let me be part of your lives. Lucas looked at his mother. Is he really our dad? Anna nodded, tears in her eyes. Yes, Lucas, he really is. The boy took a step forward, still cautious but willing to give Guilherme a chance. Do we have to call you Dad right away? You can call me whatever you're comfortable with, Guilherme assured him. We have plenty of time to figure things out. As the sun began to sink below the horizon, they walked back to the cottage together. Sophia skipped ahead, chattering excitedly about showing Guilherme her seashell collection, while Lucas walked beside his mother, occasionally glancing up at the man who was his father. Inside the simple cottage, Anna prepared a modest dinner with the supplies she had brought. As they ate, Guilherme told the children stories about when he and Anna were younger, careful to keep the tales age-appropriate but honest. Your mother was the smartest girl in school, he told them. She always got the highest grades, especially in science. Mama helps us with our homework, Sophia said proudly. When we went to school, she added, her smile fading. You'll go back to school soon, Guilherme promised. The best school in the city. After dinner, Anna tucked the children into bed in the cottage's small second bedroom. When she returned to the living area, she found Guilherme standing by the window, looking out at the moonlit beach. They're amazing children, he said without turning around. You did an incredible job raising them, Anna, under impossible circumstances. They're the best thing that ever happened to me, she said, sitting down on the worn sofa. Even with all the struggles, I never regretted my decision to keep them. Guilherme joined her on the sofa. Your mother told me everything. About your father. About why you really left. Anna looked away. I should have told you. All these years, I've wondered if I made the right choice. You were protecting me, Guilherme said. Protecting my family. I was young and scared, Anna admitted. My father was so convincing, so certain that telling you would destroy everything you cared about. And I loved you too much to do that to you. I would have chosen you, Guilherme said. If I had known about the babies, I would have chosen you over everything else. Maybe, Anna said, but we'll never know. And it doesn't matter now. What matters is the children, their future. And what about our future? Guilherme asked. Yours and mine. Anna sighed. Guilherme, we can't just pick up where we left off. Too much has happened. We're different people now. I know, he agreed. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we needed to grow up, to go through everything we've experienced, to become the people we are now. People who can build something real and lasting. What about your brother? It's clear he doesn't approve of me, of this situation. Ricardo will come around, Guilherme said confidently. And if he doesn't, that's his loss. I won't let him or anyone else keep me from being with my family. And the company? Your work? The company will survive if I take some time off to focus on what really matters, Guilherme said. I've spent the last decade building a business. Now I want to build a life. They talked late into the night, about the past, the present, and tentatively about the future. When Anna finally yawned, exhausted from the emotional day, Guilherme stood up. I should go. Let you get some rest, he said. There's a small inn in the village. I'll get a room there. Or you could stay, Anna suggested. The sofa pulls out into a bed. It's not very comfortable, but it's perfect, Guilherme said, smiling. I'll stay. The next morning, Guilherme was awakened by small fingers poking his cheek. He opened his eyes to find Sophia standing beside the sofa bed, still in her pajamas. "Are you really staying?" she asked. "Yes," Guilherme promised. "I'm really staying. Forever and ever. Forever and ever," he confirmed. Sophia nodded, satisfied. "Good, because Mama smiles more when you're here." Over the next few days, they fell into a simple routine. Mornings were spent on the beach, building sand castles and teaching the children to swim. Afternoons were for exploring the village, buying fresh fish from the local fishermen, and getting to know each other better. Evenings were for stories and board games, laughter and growing connections. On their fourth day in Praia Dourada, Guilherme's phone rang while they were having lunch at a small beachside cafe. It was Ricardo. "Where are you?" his brother demanded. "The Carson Group is back at the table. They're willing to renegotiate the deal, but they want to meet with you personally." "I'm with my family," Guilherme replied calmly, "and I'll be here for at least another week." "Guilherme, be reasonable," Ricardo pleaded. "This deal could make or break our expansion plans." "Then you handle it," Guilherme said. "You're just as capable as I am, Ricardo. I trust you to do what's best for the company." There was a long pause. "You're serious about this, aren't you? About her, about the children?" "Yes, I am. They're my priority now." Another pause. "Then I suppose I'd better get used to the idea of being an uncle." Guilherme smiled. "You'll be a great one, once you give them a chance." "We'll see," Ricardo said, but his tone had softened. "Handle the Carson deal, then come meet your family." "Deal," Ricardo agreed. "But don't take too long with this family vacation. The company still needs you." "I'll be back when I'm ready," Guilherme said. "Some things are more important than business, brother." After hanging up, Guilherme rejoined Anna and the children at their table. "Everything okay?" Anna asked. "Better than okay," Guilherme assured her. "Ricardo is coming around, slowly, but he's trying." That evening, after the children were asleep, Guilherme and Anna walked along the moonlit beach hand in hand. "I've been thinking," Guilherme said, "about what happens when we go back to the city." "And?" Anna prompted. "I want us to be a real family. I want to be there for breakfast in the morning and bedtime stories at night. I want to help with homework and take them to school and be part of all the moments I've already missed." "Are you saying you want us to live together?" Anna asked. "To start with, yes," Guilherme said. "The penthouse has plenty of room. The children could each have their own bedroom. You too, of course," he added quickly. "I'm not presuming anything about us." "And what about us?" Anna asked softly. "What do you want, Guilherme?" He stopped walking and turned to face her, taking both her hands in his. "I want a chance, Anna. A chance to see if what we had, what we felt for each other, can grow into something even stronger. I've never stopped loving you, not really. Even when I thought I'd moved on, there was always a part of my heart that belonged to you." Anna's eyes glistened with tears in the moonlight. "I never stopped loving you either," she admitted. "Even when I convinced myself it was better to stay away, I carried you with me, in my heart, in our children's faces." Guilherme pulled her close, kissing her gently. It was a kiss of reunion, of forgiveness, of hope for the future. "Is that a yes?" he asked when they finally broke apart. "Will you and the children come live with me?" "Yes," Anna said, "but I still want to work, to contribute. I can't just live off your charity." "I wouldn't expect you to," Guilherme assured her. "In fact, I have a proposition for you. Torres Resorts is starting a charitable foundation focused on helping homeless families get back on their feet. We need someone to run it, someone with first-hand experience and a compassionate heart." "Interested?" Anna smiled. "Very interested. But let's take things one step at a time, okay? For the children's sake." "One step at a time," Guilherme agreed. "Starting right now." 1 month later, the grand ballroom of the Torres Grand Hotel was decorated with flowers and twinkling lights for the annual charity gala. The city's elite were in attendance, dressed in their finest, sipping champagne and making generous donations to the newly established Torres Family Foundation. At the center of it all stood Guilherme, handsome in his tuxedo, with Anna radiant beside him in a simple but elegant blue gown. The transformation from the woman he'd found on the street just weeks ago was remarkable, but the warmth in her eyes, the kindness in her smile, those hadn't changed at all. Lucas and Sophia, dressed in their own formal attire, were charming the guests with their polite manners and infectious enthusiasm. "They look like natural socialites," Ricardo commented, joining Guilherme at the edge of the room. "They're adapting well," Guilherme agreed. "Better than I expected." "And Anna? How is she handling all of this?" Ricardo asked, genuinely curious. "With grace and dignity," Guilherme said proudly. She's already making plans for the foundation, finding ways to help families like hers. Ricardo nodded thoughtfully. I was wrong about her, about all of this. I can see that now. Thank you for saying that, Guilherme said, clapping his brother on the shoulder. It means a lot. Across the room, Sophia was tugging on Anna's dress, pointing excitedly at the chocolate fountain. Anna laughed and nodded, allowing her daughter to drag her toward the dessert table. You know, Ricardo said, for all the success we've had, all the wealth we've accumulated, I've never seen you as happy as you are right now. That's because I never was, Guilherme admitted. Not until I found them, not until my family was complete. Later that evening, as the gala wound down, Guilherme found Anna on the hotel's rooftop terrace, looking out at the city lights. Penny for your thoughts, he said, joining her at the railing. I was just thinking about that day a month ago, she said. How different everything was. How desperate I felt, and now, she gestured to her elegant dress, to the glittering city below. It's like a dream. Not a dream, Guilherme assured her. This is real, Anna, all of it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. I know we agreed to take things one step at a time, he said, opening the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. But I've already lost 11 years with you. I don't want to waste another day. Anna's eyes widened. Guilherme, I'm not asking you to marry me tomorrow, he clarified, or next month, or even next year. This is a promise ring, a promise that when you're ready, when we're all ready, I'll be waiting. Because you're the one, Anna. You always have been. Tears slipped down Anna's cheeks as she nodded. Yes, she whispered. Yes to the promise, to the future, to all of it. As Guilherme slipped the ring onto her finger, the door to the terrace opened and Lucas and Sophia peeked out. Are you guys coming? Lucas asked. The car is waiting to take us home. Home. Such a simple word, but so meaningful. Guilherme looked at Anna, at the ring now sparkling on her finger, at the children waiting for them. Yes, he said, taking Anna's hand. We're coming home. Together, the four of them walked back into the hotel, a family once broken by circumstance, now reunited by fate and the simple truth that love, real love, always finds a way back home. The end.